Alright guys, want to talk about auditions this year, what we're doing, some tips and tricks, things that you should know already but I find myself repeating over and over and over. They're basic concepts and I shouldn't have to repeat them over and over, but hey, I find myself doing it, and you'll find that that's what I do most of the time, is repeat things that I've said in the past. Nothing new here, nothing surprising. First things first, auditions. Auditions are really hard. Auditions are not meant to be easy. Auditions aren't about giving everybody an A. And in fact, they're not even graded at all. I don't even assign grades. The purpose of auditions is for you to earn the instrument that you want to play. So there is no A, there is no B, there's no earning a grade to satisfy myself. What you're trying to do is outplay your competition and earn the instruments that you want to play. If I made auditions so that everybody got an A on it, it would be impossible to determine who was playing it better and who wasn't. So that's the point. They're really, really hard for a purpose and for a reason. Now, how to prepare for auditions? Well, really there is no magic bullet. There is no hey, you got to play 10 reps and that'll be good enough. Because, again, you're not trying to get good enough to earn a grade. You're getting good enough to earn your instrument. So what I recommend is go home and practice and play it 10 times, and then play it another 10 times, and then play it 10 times again after that, and then take a break and think about if the person that you're up against is still practicing. And if the answer to that is yes, then play some more, because that's what it's all about, is earning a spot with that. Same thing every year. Okay, now how do you get to that point where you're actually practicing? Basic concepts. First things first. Always start slow and move faster. Period. If you're dealing with, first of all, it's a philosophical rant. Something that drives me insane is the emphasis that you guys place on speed when actually the emphasis should be on control and accuracy. Because if you cannot play in control and you cannot play the proper rhythms and you cannot play them accurately, then all the speed in the world doesn't matter at all. We cannot play musically, we cannot play as a drum line, fail. So there's that reason. Also, there's the mathematical reason, because we do it the same way every year. And you know that we're scoring on a scale of 0 to 3, with a little bit of a bonus given for speed. But what that means is somebody who plays it slow and steady and earns 3s down the board outscores somebody who tries to play it fast but they can only score at a 2 level. The math just lays it out. If you can play it with accuracy and confidence at a slow tempo, you're at a huge advantage over trying to rush it through. So start slow, earn mastery at slow tempos, and then you can start building it up to try to maximize your score. That's what I recommend. Okay, the theme and variation this year. Hey, we're doing a theme and variation this year. Shouldn't be new. We did a theme and variation last year. And the year before that. And as far back as I can remember, we've always done theme and variations. So, the theme for this year is it's basically a 2-measure groove. You only have to learn 2 measures. 1, 2, and 1. That's the first. You repeat that 2 times, so you got 3 bars on that theme. 1, 2, and 1. Okay, the second measure that you have to learn is the finale, and you only play it once. 1, E, 3, and E, O, Y. 1, E, and E, 3, and 4, E, O, Y. Okay, so you link those, that's the last measure. You take that first one, you link it together 3 times, boom, with the finale, and boom, you got it. Easy. What that means is that theme and variations, everything else is built off that theme. So if you understand that theme, all the variations that you should do, that you play, should fit within that bracket. So if you don't understand your theme, you're going to be in deep trouble. But if you understand the theme and you understand that those first 3 measures always target to land on the and of 4, 1, 2, and, then you're going to be golden. It doesn't matter how complicated it is, how fast the rolls are, how weird the 24th note or sextuplets look. That's the framework. For snares and quad players, this allows me to do a couple things so we can chunk it out. 1, 2, that repeats. That pattern. 1, What that means is I can take everything, I can ask you to do anything on the right hand, and then I can turn around and ask you to do the same thing on the left. 1, 2, Second part of the measure, and. Okay? Right, right, left, 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 right. That's all there is to it. Everything that I'm going to ask you to do on the right, all the rules, all the rolls, all the rudiments, everything that I ask you to do off the right, I'm going to ask you to do it off the left. So if you chunk it out that way, and then put them together, you've got the first measure licked. Okay? Same chunking can go on with that very last measure as well. Okay? Because it's a repeating pattern. Okay? This is all part of knowing and understanding the pattern. Now the bass drummers, they'll take exception. They'll be like, well, this theme and variation doesn't exist for us. Yes, it does if you look at it and think about it, because the way that it's structured is it's built around splits, and the notes that you're playing are either interior to the split or exterior to the split. They're bookmarking the split, or they're the notes that happen on the interior of that split. Okay? What this allows you to do is some very interesting things. One, it allows you to keep that theme and variation so you know how to practice with or for yourself. But if you decide that you want to practice with other people, what that means is it doesn't matter what they're practicing. As long as they're practicing these auditions, the bass part will fit with the snare part, which will fit with the quad part, which will fit with the cymbal part. And in fact, snare players can actually split up their different parts. Same for basses, same for quads. One player could be practicing variation C and the other one could be practicing variation H. Okay? There are variations and nuances, but that theme will line up. Okay? So you can practice it with anybody, and it gives you a tremendous flexibility to do that. And why you guys don't utilize that is beyond me, so whatever. The next thing that you guys should always be doing when you practice, always practice with the metronome. Please, please, please practice with the metronome. Why do I ask you guys to practice with the metronome? Because when you come in on audition day, you will be required to play along with the metronome. And if you don't play with the metronome, you won't be prepared. And it will end badly for you. You don't have to go out and buy a metronome. You can download a metronome app. You can look up a metronome website. A million things. Practice in front of a mirror. Always practice in front of the mirror. I'm not going to go into the nuances of technique. I've got a separate video that does that I'd be happy to share with you guys on what good technique looks like and what that means for your playing. And when you're playing very technical stuff, technique makes a difference on how well you're able to play it. But there's no way of self-evaluating whether or not you're using correct technique unless you play in front of a mirror. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Quad players. I'll hear quad players saying, well, I don't own a set of quads, or I don't have a quadruped. How do I practice on this? Well, you have to play it on one drum first. So that's a good start for anything you have to do. There is nothing about having 5 drums in front of you that you're going to be like, oh, I get it, I can play this. No, if you cannot play the pattern on a single drum, then you're doomed. You have to figure out how to play those patterns on a single drum before you can move on to other drums. So there's a tremendous amount of practicing that you can do, even if you don't own quads, even if you don't own a quad pad, for what that's worth. So that's pretty much all I've got for you guys right now. I'm going to call it quits because it's late. It's past my bedtime. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. Peace out.